Before we start, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss what's next. Drop your video ideas in the comments below. I read them. Let's get something straight. Tools don't change lives. The way you use tools does. When most people open ChatGPT, they treat it like a slightly smarter version of a search engine. They ask it basic questions, they ask it to define things, they ask it to summarize stuff. That's not wrong, but it's like buying a supercomputer and using it as a calculator. You're tapping maybe 5% of what's possible. And here's the shift that changes everything. Stop treating ChatGPT like Google, start treating it like an employee, or even better, like a team. When you use ChatGPT as a search engine, you ask small questions and you get small answers. When you use it as a thinking partner, you start giving it context, constraints, goals, and roles. And that's where the magic happens. Imagine hiring someone and saying, "Do something good." That's how most people prompt AI. Vague instructions create vague results. Instead, imagine saying, "You are a senior marketing strategist with 15 years of experience in personal branding." This is the first big mistake people make. They don't assign a role. When you give ChatGPT a role, you constrain its perspective, you narrow its focus, you guide its tone and depth. If you tell it to act like a lawyer, you'll get a different response than if you tell it to act like a startup founder or a psychologist or a negotiation expert. It's the same underlying model, but your framing determines the personality and angle of the response, and that alone can transform average answers into strategic ones. The second mistake is not providing context. People type one sentence and expect genius, but context is fuel. The more relevant detail you provide, the more tailored and high quality the output becomes. Instead of saying, "Write me a caption," say, "Write me an Instagram caption for a fitness coach who helps busy dads lose 10 kilograms without spending more than 3 hours a week in the gym." The tone should be direct, masculine, and motivational without sounding aggressive. That extra specificity eliminates generic fluff. You start getting something that actually sounds like you. Now, let's go deeper. The real power move is iteration. Most people ask once and accept the first answer. High performers treat ChatGPT like a back-and-forth collaborator. They refine. They say, "Make it more concise, add storytelling, turn this into a script. Now rewrite it at a 5th grade reading. Level, now make it more controversial." Every iteration sharpens the output. You're sculpting, not just receiving. Think of the first response as a draft, not a final product. Another way you're probably using ChatGPT wrong is by asking it to think for you instead of with you. There's a big difference. If you say, "Give me a business idea," you might get something decent but generic. But if you say, "Here are my skills, my interests, my current income, the time I have available each week, and my risk tolerance, based on that, propose 3 business models ranked by speed to profitability and scalability." Now you're co-creating. You're combining your unique situation with its analytical power. That's leverage. Let's talk about learning. Most people use ChatGPT to get answers. The smarter move is to use it to understand systems. Instead of asking, "What is investing?" ask, "Explain investing to me as if I'm 12, then as if I'm a finance major, then as if I'm about to manage my first $100,000. When you force layered explanations, you deepen your understanding. You're not just collecting facts, you're building mental models. And here's something almost no one does. Ask it to challenge you. Ask it to critique your ideas. If you're starting a business, paste your idea and say, "Act as a skeptical investor. Tear this apart. What are the biggest risks, blind spots, and assumptions?" That one prompt can save you months of wasted effort. You can even tell it to switch perspectives. Now defend the idea aggressively by toggling viewpoints. You simulate debate. That's advanced thinking, and you're doing it in minutes. Another common mistake is using ChatGPT passively instead of building workflows around it. Let's say you're a content creator. Don't just ask for video ideas. Create a repeatable system. Ask for 10 ideas, then ask it to score them based on virality potential, ease of production, and monetization alignment. Then ask it to expand the top 3 into outlines. Then turn one outline into a full script. Then ask it to generate thumbnail text options. Then ask it to simulate audience objections in the comments and craft responses. That's not a single prompt. That's a pipeline. And once you have that pipeline, you can reuse it every week. If you're a student, stop asking it to solve this question. Instead say, guide me step by step without giving me the final answer unless I ask. Ask me questions to check my understanding. Now it becomes a tutor, not a shortcut machine. If you're a professional, don't just ask it to write an email. Give it the context of the relationship, the goal of the email, the risks involved, and the tone you want to convey. The output will feel like it was written by someone who actually understands the situation. Let's address the fear that using AI makes you less intelligent. That only happens if you outsource thinking entirely. If you use it to expand your thinking, you actually become sharper. Think of it like going to the gym with a trainer. The trainer doesn't lift the weights for you. They guide you, correct you, push you. ChatGPT can do the same intellectually. It can expose gaps in your reasoning. It can introduce frameworks you hadn't considered. It can simulate scenarios so you can stress-test decisions before you make them in real life. Now, I want to zoom out for a second. We are in the middle of one of the biggest technological shifts since the launch of the iPhone or the public release of the Internet. Companies like OpenAI are pushing AI into everyday workflows at a speed most people don't fully grasp yet. Tools like ChatGPT are not just chatbots, they're cognitive amplifiers. The gap between people who know how to use them well and those who don't will widen dramatically over the next few years. This isn't hype, it's leverage. So how do you move into the top tier of users? You start thinking in terms of outcomes, not prompts. Before you type anything, ask yourself, what do I actually want as a result? Do you want clarity, a decision, a plan, a draft, a critique, a strategy? Define the outcome first. Then reverse engineer the prompt that would logically produce that outcome. That mental shift alone will upgrade everything you get back. Here's another advanced move. Stack constraints. Creativity thrives under constraints. If you say, give me a story, you'll get something average. If you say, Ian, write a 300-word story about discipline set in a futuristic city where emotions are taxed by the government, written in the style of a minimalist thriller. Now the AI has boundaries. Boundaries for specificity. Specificity creates uniqueness. Let's talk about productivity. You can use ChatGPT as a daily planning partner. Every morning, paste your task list and say, based on impact and urgency, prioritize this. Identify what can be delegated, automated, or eliminated. Then create a focused 3-hour deep work plan. You've just turned chaos into structure in seconds. And at the end of the day, you can reflect with it. Here's what I did. Where did I waste time? How can I improve tomorrow? That's like having a performance coach on demand. If you're building a personal brand, use it to clarify your positioning. Describe your skills, experiences, and interests. Ask it to identify intersections that are rare but valuable. Ask it to craft a unique value proposition. Ask it to analyze competitors and suggest differentiation angles. Most people guess their positioning. You can analyze yours strategically. And here's something powerful. Use ChatGPT to think in second-order consequences. When making a decision, ask, what are the likely outcomes of this choice? In 6 months, 1 year, 5 years? What unintended consequences might arise? You're training yourself to think long-term. That's how leaders operate. Another area people ignore is emotional intelligence. You can paste a difficult conversation and ask, how might the other person be interpreting this? What emotions could be driving their response? How can I reply in a way that de-escalates tension while protecting my boundaries? That's real-world application. That's growth. The truth is, most people use ChatGPT for convenience. The top users use it for transformation. They build systems. They refine prompts. They iterate relentlessly. They combine their judgment with AI speed. And that combination is dangerous in the best possible way. Let me give you a mindset shift that ties everything together. Stop asking, what can ChatGPT do? Start asking, what would I do if I had a full team of experts available 24/7? Then simulate that team through roles: a strategist, a copywriter, a financial analyst, a psychologist, a debate opponent, a teacher. You can access all those perspectives by deliberately assigning them. That's how you unlock exponential value. And remember, the output quality is proportional to the input clarity. If your instructions are lazy, the results will be lazy. If your thinking is sharp, the results will reflect that sharpness. AI doesn't replace intelligence, it magnifies it. We're moving into a world where the ability to ask better questions becomes more valuable than memorizing more answers. The people who thrive will not be those who know the most facts. They'll be the ones who can orchestrate tools, frame problems clearly, and iterate quickly. That's a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. So, starting today, I want you to experiment. Take one area of your life that matters: your health, your finances, your career, your content, your relationships. Instead of asking one shallow question, build a deep conversation, provide context, assign roles, iterate, challenge, refine. Turn it into a process. Watch what happens. And before we wrap up, I want you to think about this. A year from now, there will be two types of people: those who occasionally used AI for quick answers, and those who integrated it into their thinking, decision-making, and execution. The difference in results will not be small, it will be massive. If this video shifted your perspective even slightly, do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you stay ahead while everyone else is catching up. And now, I want to hear from you. How have you been using ChatGPT so far, and what's one way you're going to change your approach after watching this? Drop it in the comments. I read them, and I respond to as many as I can. Let's build smarter together.